Hello and welcome. It's Crafty Carol here from Northern Ireland with another little project for you, and this is a corner fold card, and I actually got the idea from it from a card I saw Martha Lafroth do. She's an American demonstrator. I think she got it from somebody else, but that's how it goes in the card world, isn't it? We all find these new things. So what do you need to make this corner fold card? And I've prepared all the bits. You can see I've got a poorly finger, so I can't do too much on camera today, which is a bit sad, but we shall get there. So you need a card base, and the card base is the usual card base, which is 14.8 by 21 centimetres, scored at 10.5, or 5.5 by 8.5 inches, scored at 4.25. I am, as you know, trying to give you the inches as well as, I've lost my bone folder, there it is. Give you the inches as well as the centimetres now. This is my aim. I've also got a new light, so I'm hoping it'll actually make these videos easier to see. So that's your card base. The other pieces you need two pieces of card. This is just basic white card, and these are 14.3. I'm going to hide my finger, I don't like showing it, by 10. And you need two of these pieces. In inches, that is 5.25 inches by 4. So you need two of those, one for the inside and one for the out. And you also need a piece of DSP. Now I'm using the lovely new Light and Airy DSP, which is one of the free items you can get with the current Sale-a-bration catalogue. So this is really lovely. It's got lots of birds on it and lovely patterns. Let me just show you that DSP just briefly. I've already cut into the pack, so you can't see the full sheets, but as always, it's got, let's get the full sheets out that you can see. So it's got birds on one side, colour on the other. That's pecan pie, I think. And, yeah, is it pecan pie, I think, or is it, yeah, it could be copper clay. Anyway, I'll have a look on the back and see in a minute. So 2 sheets of each. Lovely little lovebirds there, which is rather nice, with some Lost Lagoon leaf patterns on the back. 2 of those as well. Then we've got this lovely one with, again, the birds sitting on the blossoms, with some boho blue on the back, birds sitting on blossoms with flowery pattern on the back, with a pink pattern on the back, the birds themselves with a pink flowery pattern on the back. So some lovely papers here. I haven't got a stamp set to go with it, but there are various stamp sets that have birds on them, so it is worth, you could use that. You could use the birds from a different set if you wanted to stamp something. I'm just actually going to use the DSP because I'm going to cut, as you can see, I've already done that. I've already cut some of the little images, some of the little birds from the DSP to actually use on my card. So I've already done that. So we'll leave those in the corner ready in a minute. I've also stamped a sentiment, and I've used, it's a retired punch, I'm afraid, to stamp it out, but you could use any die to cut out that. And that, thanks, is from the Filled with Happiness stamp set, which is currently available, and that matches the Modern Oval punch, though I haven't used that particular punch for this sentiment. Then finally, you need one more piece of DSP, which is going to go on the corner fold. You can use the same DSP if you wanted, or you could use a contrasting one like I have done. And the size of that is 4 centimetres by 9 centimetres, or in inches, 3 5/8 inches by 1 5/8 inches. Okay, so let's have a go at making the card. So the first thing we're going to do is actually create the corner fold. So I am going to find my pencil, which has also vanished. So I'm going to first of all turn so that the open side of the card is upwards, or well, you can open it up actually and just use the one edge. And you want to measure at the 5 centimetres or 2 inch mark. So I'm measuring at 5 centimetres. I'm just going to make a little tiny pencil mark on the side of the card, because then we're going to put a crease line in. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up my pencil mark in the groove, and I'm lining up the centre crease of the card also in the groove, and I'm going to score, not cut, so move your cutting blade well out of the way, and I'm just going to score between those 2 marks. Okay, that's going to create our corner fold. So I'm a bit obsessional about this, but I do like to rub out the pencil mark once I've made it, because I don't want it to show. It shouldn't, because it's folded down. So this piece of the card is actually going to fold over like that. So again, I need my bone folder, because this needs to be a really nice crisp fold. There we go. Right, now the only fiddly bit of this card is now to actually cut the white piece to match. So you want to place your white piece really close. You've just got like a 1/16 of an inch, or about a 2 millimeter gap at the corner there. And then again, use your pencil, and you're just going to mark just above where the crease line is either side, which you can just see there. So you can see the crease either side of your card. Don't worry about the space at the bottom at all, it's just there. And we're going to cut that piece off. So you'll see, actually if I show you just before I do that, you can see the top pencil mark isn't quite at the corner. So do make sure you line it up well. So you want your 2 pencil marks in the track. You only get 1 chance to cut, so get it right. And when you are cutting, make sure you cut from the wider piece of the card. Don't try and cut down from there, because it will damage that corner. Okay, I'm just going to test that, because this piece, when turned over, should, and it does, I need to just use my bone folder to squash down that cut edge. I've turned it over, so the cut edge is now on the top, and that just fits with a nice little tiny border all the way around. I could make that slightly bigger. Perhaps I'll cut a little sliver off just to make that slightly bigger. I was perhaps a little bit too careful. So I'm going to cut a sliver off now. Actually, I'm going to start in the middle. That would be, when you're cutting off little bits, much easier to start in the middle. So I'm just going to run my scissors down there to get out the bits. Perhaps it needs to be a pokey tool. I'll find that in a minute. Okay, and that will fit a little bit better. Yeah, lovely. Now this piece now isn't quite in the corner, so again you want to take just a sliver off that. So I find if I line it up with the edge of my trimmer here, then when I cut it off, I've got a nice straight piece, which should fit nicely here with a decent border. And it does, so that's super. So I got those pieces right. The only remaining bit is to use the DSP. So to measure this one, you measure it against your white piece, have the border that you want all the way around. And this time we're just going to mark just below there and just above here. So see, just from that corner to my mark here. And again cut, but don't cut from the top, because it'll bend your paper. So it hasn't quite lined up, but there we go. Make sure my marks are exactly in my track and cut. There we go. Now I'm obviously not going to use the reverse of this particular piece because it won't work. So this is the piece for here, and that's why I have an extra piece of DSP for this fold down. So I've cut my white from my piece of white. This bit is scrap, or you could use it on another card. So I'm going to use this piece, which, as you can see, because I've already cut it the right size, isn't going to be difficult to cut. I just need to cut this along the diagonal. So this piece, just to remind you, was 4 centimeters by 9 centimeters, or inches were 1 5/8 inches by 3 5/8 inches. So again, I'm going to put it corner to corner, cut from the middle, because I don't want to cut against a corner, it'll bend it. So make sure that's in the middle, hold it tight. And now I've got 2 pieces, one for this card and one that will make another card if I wanted. So put that piece to one side, just a matter of sticking everything together really. So I'm going to start off, I haven't stamped anything inside, I think probably I won't, it's a thank you card, and quite often with thank you cards I don't bother stamping anything inside, because I like to write a message, but obviously you could stamp a sentiment inside if you wanted. So I'm going to stick that piece inside to start off with, because it will help me when I'm lining up my triangles to stick on the front, and I'll show you why in a minute. So that piece goes inside, and then we can stick the big pieces on the front. So first of all, my white layer. If you wanted to, you need not have your white layer. By the way, you could just use a piece of DSP, but I quite like an extra little border. I think it looks nicer. That's my first bit and my second. So up to you. I'd leave you to decide on that bit. I'm sorry about this paper moving around. I must think of a way to do this. The reason, because I've got my new light, I don't want it glaring off my shiny glass mat, and therefore I've used a piece of old paper from one of the old events that I've done, just to have down. So I'm sorry if it's moving around a bit. So there's my main bit of card. Then I need to stick this down. Now you can either stick this flat or use a dimensional just to hold it down. It's up to you. I want to make a feature of it a little bit, so I'm going to use a dimensional just on the underside of there, just to stick that down, and then we can stick these pieces on top. So first my white layer. And this is where it's useful to have stuck the white layer inside your card first, because now you can make sure as you stick this on that you can see the border along there. You can see exactly where it is, so you can get your white layer. Where have I just lost my, there it is. You can get your white layer exactly in the right place. And then we'll stick the DSP on. There. And there basically is the card. Now obviously you can add extra things, and I've got a few little bits to put on. So I'm going to put my sentiment on, and I don't want to put a dimensional that side because this is also already raised up. So I'm only going to put, you can see I stamped it on that side and then realised there was a little ink mark. So I'm going to just use, I'll just put the dimensionals, there we go. I'm just going to use it's just the top of my dimensional. Honestly, not being able to use my index finger is a bit of a pest. So then I can put a dimensional on the one end and stick glue on the other, because that's going to go just here. And then these are where the little birds that I've got, that I've already cut, come in, because I'm going to have one little bird. I think we'll have him about there. So I just need to put some glue along the bottom. Stick him down, and I'm just going to stick his little feet underneath the thanks there, and then we'll have this one next to him, I think. So again, I just want some glue along the bottom, so we'll have him just sitting here. There you are, a little pair of lovebirds on the front of my card. And I did actually cut another one because I thought it'd be quite nice to have that on the inside. You could put a strip of DSP on the inside, just like you could cover the envelope. I'm going to use the DSP to cover my envelope because I haven't got the stamp, so I can't stamp a bird. So we're going to have him just sitting about there, I think. And that just gives me something on the inside to look at. So there we go. And then to finish it off, somewhere I had my in-colour pearls, which aren't really going to match. They could be a bit bright. What do we think? Perhaps I'll use some ordinary pearls on this one. Let's get that out of my... I think we'll have some nice little white pearls in my box here, just to finish this off. Gosh, fingers and thumbs. There we go. So find my pokey tool, which has vanished, of course. There we go. So we'll just have a few little pearls dotted around. Oops. Not on the middle of the bird, I don't think. We'll have one on the thanks and one over here. And a couple of little ones down here. Yeah, that's 4. I don't want 4. 4's never any good, so we'll have a 5th one just over here. There. So, there's my little folded corner card. I hope you like that. As I said, you can stamp, if you want to stamp a sentiment in there, and of course don't forget to decorate your envelope. I'm probably going to use some of the DSP. If I get the envelope, I'll just show you. I'm going to use some of the DSP just across the back. This isn't one I'm going to use, but I'm just going to put a piece across there, stick it down, and then I can cut round the edge, and then it's covered my flap. These are the birds actually. Whatever. Just to decorate my envelope, and you could stick another little cutout bird on the front. So don't forget to do your envelopes, but I hope that gives you some ideas for a fun card. Apologies for my big finger getting in the way again, and I hope to see you again soon. All the measurements are on my website in my blog at craftycarolscards.co.uk. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.